When you get bored of the vanilla Minecraft experience, it's natural to go looking for a vanilla plus version. And that's what today's add-on hopes to bring. Because today's add-on reveal is going to be on the new Supplementaries add-on by Razzleberries. Coming in at 990 mine tokens, this add-on takes up 7 megabytes of space. But does this add-on supplement the base game as seamlessly as it says? Or is it just a load of extra fluff? In today's video, we're going to take a look at the guidebook that you get in this add-on, the blocks that you get, and the items that you get. I'm going to take my time to try and have a look at the functionality as we go through each of the sections and potentially test some of the stuff as we go. But anything that needs a little bit of an extra explanation or demonstration, we'll look at in the experience section. If you don't want to watch the whole video with me, feel free to use the chapters to jump to the section that you want to go to. All I ask is that you leave a like on the video, but if you do want to go through this video with me, let's go. Now, when you start in a brand new world with the Supplementaries add-on, you're given the Supplemental Handbook, a guide to supplementaries, and you'll also see there it says supplementaries in the item name. And that means that when you're in the creative menu or the crafting menu, if you type any version of supplementaries or part of the word, you can find every item that is associated with this add-on, which makes it very easy to find. You also have a config settings button or item, but this is not craftable, and I don't think it was given to me when I loaded in. This is something that can only be got from the creative menu, but you can change a whole host of settings in this add-on. So feel free to slow the video down and check this out, or just be aware that there is a lot that you can change in the settings, but to do so, you would probably have to disable trophies and achievements to get to it. But if we have a look at the handbook, when you start with the handbook, it opens up like so. There is usually a bit of a message here basically saying thank you for checking out the add-on and instructing us to click into this. Once you've read it once, you can't read it again, but you do come to this menu here, and there is a ton of information on practically every single block, item, or feature in this add-on. I'm not going to sit here and read all of this. I know you guys hate when I do that, so we're not going to go through all of it. But just know you can click in and you get a load of information on everything as you go through. So you can spend some time here and find out what everything's doing. For the important stuff though, hopefully I'll be able to touch upon it in today's video. There is one thing I want to show you, and it's the tweak section. Now, certain things like the clock and compass allows you to see your coordinates and time of day now using the clock and the compass. That's if you don't want to use coordinates on your screen and you want to fully immerse yourself in it, or maybe even remove your HUD completely, you now have functionality with the clock and compass, and also the wall lanterns. They can now be placed on the side of a block, and I can show you this. Everything else I'll probably show you as we go through the video, but if we come around here, the lantern and the soul lantern can now be placed on the side of a wall, but unfortunately, this functionality has not been given to the copper lanterns. Is it going to be updated? I hope so. I mean, this add-on came out after copper lanterns were introduced, so I would have expected it to be in here, but it doesn't place on the side of the wall. I'm trying to place it down here, but you can place it like so. And if you have the soul lantern, you can just place it. And if you have a normal lantern, you can also just place it as well. But that's pretty much the entire book. It's all information about how you do things. Everything else I'll show you as we go through, so I don't need to look at it here. There is an about section with the social media, websites if you want to go and check out Razzleberries or see more about supplementaries. You've also got the change logs, which shows you about version 1.0 currently. And there is also the credits to say thank you to everybody who was involved in making this. And apparently this was made possible by you with a love heart. So even you get a credit. Why don't we go now and have a look at all of the different blocks that you get in this add-on. Do you need even more Dazman in your life? Well, I mean, who doesn't? Well, this isn't the only channel to find me. I have multiple channels, all doing different things. Aside from here on the Dazman channel, I also have the Dazman Reacts channel, where I react to pack combinations and even the odd Minecraft trailer, as well as having marketplace creator interviews And I'm also building an actions and stuff compatibility list, so I post my findings in episodes there as well. Or maybe you want to see me play other games. Well, the best place for that is Dazman Plays, where I play multiple games at the same time. Or how about Dazman Football, where I play football games, or even Dazman Wrestling, where I hope to play more wrestling games in the future. And that's not it. I also have a website, dazman.gg, where you can find my entire texture pack review database, written reviews, written creator interviews, and it's the home of that actions and stuff compatibility list, and my official podcast. You can also see pack waiting lists and my weekly schedule. But if you want to support me, we also have the merch store at dazman.gg/merch and the Patreon account at patreon.com/thedazman, where you can support the individual channels or multiple channels at once. Or maybe you want to consider becoming a channel member here on YouTube by clicking join on this channel or the Dazman Reacts channel. There's got to be some version of the Dazman for you. Now, just to give you a taste of how much stuff there is actually in this add-on, a lot of what you're seeing here are blocks that are added by this add-on. There is some extra testing and functionality that we'll be getting to, but there's quite a lot added here. So let's get started. We're going to start over here with the gold door and the gold trapdoor. Now, as you can see, these will open like normal, but there is always a test to do with these. Now, they have a feature that involves redstone, which we'll look at in the experience section later, but you can essentially lock them with redstone. And if we was to grab ourselves a standard door, and we don't need a trapdoor here, what we can see, if you place down a standard door like so, this door will change direction to make a double door. We know this. If we place down 2 golden doors, it does the same thing. It changes the direction to make a double door. Now, if we was to place down 1 golden door and a vanilla door, the vanilla door doesn't interact or know that there's a second door here to make a double door. That's a functionality issue that we see with add-ons a lot. But if we place down a vanilla door first, like so, and then place down a gold door, the gold door is aware that there is a door here and will change direction. So there is a way to make it if you wanted to do a vanilla door with a normal door, but it very much has to be in this order so that the new door knows to check for the vanilla door. But that's good to know that there is some sort of functionality. I do believe it's a limitation on add-ons that allow you to do that, but at least there's something there. Next up, we have the iron gate. Now, the iron gate opens and closes like a normal gate, but one special function of this is that you can place gates on top of each other and they connect. So there was a change. This is how the gate would look normally. In fact, if I put it here so you can see, it's got the rounded corners. Now it's connected. And the reason why it's connected is because if I open this bottom one, it now opens both. And I believe, I'm not 100% sure, we're going to test this now. I believe this is something that is stackable to more than 2 high. So we'll go 3, 4, 5. We'll tap in the middle and all 5 have opened. We'll tap at the top, all 5 have opened. So we do have connectivity and expandability for the iron gates. Now, another few tests that we can do here is if we grab a standard fence gate and a standard fence. Now, if you place down a fence and a fence gate, they connect. And then you place down a fence and you've got a nice little connection here. If we get rid of these ones for now and we focus on the one and we place down a fence, you can see that a vanilla fence does try to connect, but the gate doesn't move or anything like that to basically jump up and connect flushly. But you can at least have it going like so, and it does at least recognize that there's something there. You could place a fence gate next to it and it does something there, but this iron gate doesn't move at all. So just be aware of that if you are interested in that. Next up the top here, we have a rope. Now, initially when I saw the rope, I thought it might be climbable, but it's actually not. What the rope is very functionable, and we're going to be checking it out in the experience section. But for now, if we want to place it down and extend it, with the rope, I can tap on this rope and it places it down at the bottom, and we can extend the rope. So you can see here, it's going down. I want to be in a certain situation so you can see it. going down, and at some point it should touch the stone. There we go. And once it touches the stone, if there's only one layer of stone, it will push that one layer of stone or block in general all the way down. But if there was two layers, so if we break all of this on here like so, break all of that and that, if we was to put that flush and that there, and then we're going to put that over here, will it still do it? Let's see. So we're going to go back onto the top here. Now we should see it go in if it does. No. So it basically stops it from carrying on if it's got more than one layer to go through. But then if we come back down here, we break this second one, come back up the top here, and then try and do it. So boom, you can see the block goes in. Now, if we're holding nothing in our hand and we interact, nothing. But if we crouch and we interact, you see, we basically pull back one of the ropes into our inventory. I'll show you again. We can throw those away. So I'm crouched and I interact and we get the rope back in our inventory, but also we're now pulling the block up. And so freehand, do it again, pulling the block up. And I'm getting, it's basically taking the rope away, putting it back in our inventory and pulling the stone up. And then with the rope again, if I wasn't crouched, we can do that and we can basically push it back down again, giving us a pulley system, which can actually be expanded. And we'll look at that in the experience section as well. But good to see some good functionality here and some really new different things. Now, if we look at the blocks, we have got a checker block slab and a checker block. We've got stone tiles and a stone tile slab. We've got black stone tile slab and black stone tiles. We've got thatch block slab and thatch block, which utilizes dry grass, and I'll be talking about that in the experience section. We've also got ash bricks and ash brick slabs, or at least the other way around. We've got fine wood slabs and fine wood. We also have a pedestal. Now, a pedestal is cool because if you have a placeable block, I don't know, let's grab a door, for instance, and you interact, you can now spin it. Now, imagine if you had something cool like a diamond to show off. You now have a pedestal block that will show that off for you. And if you have nothing in your hand and interact again, you can pick it back up. So it's not just trapped, which is very, very good. Next up, we have a ram block, which has functionality that I'll show you in the experience section. But if you don't want to wait, basically, you can use this on a piston to break a block. We have raked gravel, which means that normal gravel can now be used with a hoe to rake it. And depending on where you're standing, you can change the direction of this, if I can get my words out. And we have a pumice. A pumice, which I'm going to take the time to show you, is something that spawns naturally in the nether. And it's essentially a sponge for lava. So if we had a lava lake or a big lava puddle like this, and we place it down in the middle, you'll see a lot of that lava has disappeared. In fact, it only left me with one block from what was a 4x4 section. It left one block in the corner. But that then gives us scorching pumice. Now, there's a lot of functionality for this that we will be looking at in the experience section. But, or at least there's one functionality for this that we'll look at. But another thing that you can do here is keep it like this as a direct decorational block, like so, if you want it. I don't know why you would, but you can. Or you can cool it down. So if you place it next to water, it will cool down and become pumice again. Or you can place it next to ice and it will do the exact same thing and become pumice again. It's a lava sponge, which is very good. I like that. I like that functionality quite a lot, to be honest with you. Next up, we then have lapis bricks. We have redstone bricks, glowstone bricks, emerald bricks, diamond bricks, and amethyst bricks, which I'm sure you can imagine is crafted from the gems and precious items that you get. We also have a daub. We have a wattle and daub frame. We have a wattle and daub brace. There is an urn which will spawn naturally, and when you break it, you can get junk, or in very rare occasions, you can get treasure. We have the aforementioned scorching pumice, and we have polished pumice as well, if you really want to make it a building block. Next up, we then have a stone lamp, a deep slate lamp. In fact, I'm going to grab these. So deep slate lamp and stone lamp. We have a black stone lamp and we have an end stone lamp. Now these are light blocks. They can't be toggled on or off. But if I run a few commands, so we're going to go daylight cycle true, and then we're going to set the world to nighttime, which should be somewhere up here. Here we go. If we was to place these down, like say the deep slate lamp, you can see it gives off light like so. We can do the same thing with a stone lamp, and we can do the same thing with a black stone lamp like so. But the end stone lamp is quite special. You see, when you place it down, not only does it give off light, but if you interact with it with a free hand, you can change the design on the side. Now, it doesn't change anything to do with the light. It's not giving us any pink light, but just interacting with it gives us a different design. So you can have a few of these maybe next to each other if you wanted to, and just make up a bit of graffiti or something, which is quite cool. But these are not toggleable on or off. They are just forever on, as far as I'm aware at least. If we was to try and interact here with this block, you see it doesn't change. Same for this one over here, it won't change. And then same for this one over here, it won't change. Although this one does make my hand move like I am interacting with it, which is different to those two. So something weird about this, but I don't know what. If we set the world back into daytime now, and we go back to where we was and carry on, next up we have spikes. Now these are bamboo spikes, and the name is a bit messed up on some of them, but we've got decay bamboo spikes, harming bamboo spikes, infestation bamboo spikes, poison, there was another one there, oozing, slowness, weakness, weaving, and wind charging. Now the first one is just a standard spike, which if you land on it would cause you damage. I'm in creative, so we're not going to, but the rest of these, if you land on them, you get given the effect. So I'm standing on both poison and oozing right now, so I'm given poison and oozing. And when crafting them, you can either craft the standard one, the bamboo one, or you can use splash potions or certain potions. I'm not very much a potion person, but you can use potions to add the effects to them and make them even more deadly. Next up then, if we clear my inventory, we have got a soap block, which is basically a storage block for the brand new soap item that we'll be looking at in the item section. We have a feather block, which is a storage block for feathers, but also if you fall on it from a height, you get a little bouncy, and you get a little bit of an animation there as well. We then have a flint block, which you can strike this against iron or an iron block, and it will cause fire. I'll show you that in the experience section because it needs a little bit of a setup. We have a sugar cube block, which is a storage block for sugar. This will also dissolve in water. We also have a block of chocolate, which is a storage block for the brand new chocolate item. There is a flax bale, which is a storage block for the new flax crop. We have a pulley, which I'll show you in the experience section. A bellows, which I'll also show you in the experience section. There's a speaker block, and there's a turntable. Now, I'll show you the turntable in the experience section, but I'm going to take a second here to show you this one. So this is the speaker block. Now, I thought it was going to make a noise. It doesn't. But if you interact with it, you can set a message, like I've set the message, please subscribe. And anybody who walks into a radius, which you can set from, I'm guessing it was 1 all the way up to what looks like it's probably going to be about 100 blocks, maybe more, 128. So from 1 to 128 block radius, it will now, on redstone, send out a message. Like so. You get a little animation that pops off of it, and it goes into the chat log. Turn it off, turn it on, and all of you redstone heads out there that know how to make really good machines can probably do something where this triggers to send out every so often. And you can see the animation changes color as it goes. And if you are on a realm or something and you want people to be able to use this, you can set up like a profanity blocker or sensor in that config settings wheel as well, which is very good. So carrying on, because there's a lot, there really is. We've got awnings. Now there's quite a lot of awnings here, various different colors, and these have a functionality to them as well. So first of all, if you fall on an awning from a height, you get bounced back up, like so, which is cool. But if you interact with it, you can set it to tilt. You don't need to crouch, you just interact with nothing in your hand, and you can set it to either be flat or tilted. And with it tilted and you fall on it, you go in the direction that it's tilted, which is quite fun, to be fair. And those are the awnings. Next up, we have a few families here. So we've got ceramic roof slab, and ceramic roof cap. And these are available in various different colors. Now, on here, you'll notice that these, the ceramic roofs, they're essentially stairs. They look like stairs, they feel like stairs, but it's very important that you realize they are not stairs. And the reason for this is because of functionality in add-ons. So I'm going to show you here. They look like stairs, you can climb on them, but you only go up once. And that's very similar to going on a slab. You see, stair functionality doesn't really work in Minecraft add-ons. Now, if you have a few of these put together, like a staircase, it will work fine. It knows it's going with itself and you bounce up as needed. But if you was to pair it with stairs, you go up a half slab, but you don't go up that next layer. You hit a brick wall, which is essentially a pain. But if you was to do it the other way around, where it's a vanilla stair into that one, you will go up from the vanilla to the new, but you won't go back up to the vanilla. And it's the same as well for brick and stone. It's not just wood. So it's very important that you realize these are not essentially sold as stairs because they do not have the stair functionality. Another thing that we can check here as well is with the roof slabs, you do have the capability of double slabbing them like so. So you can have one on here or you can have two. And if you pick block on a 2, it shows you it as a slab like it would do with vanillas. Now, one other thing that we can test here is if we get a pickaxe and we get ourselves an axe, we can have a look and see how do we break these. So if I was to use an axe on this, it would help if I was in survival, wouldn't it? Let me just make that correct. Hang on, place that back down. If we go into survival, like so, and I use an axe, so it's not an axe to break the stairs. That's very, very slow. If I use a pickaxe, though, it breaks very fast. So a pickaxe is on the stairs. On the slabs, same thing. It's going to be a pickaxe. And if I do this to a double slab, it doesn't do it. But if I do it to a pickaxe, it breaks it. And then if we do it to a full block, like so, it breaks it and gives it. Now, I noticed this is supposed to be a double slab. When I broke, it didn't give me the 2 slabs back. But if I break the single slab, it does. That's really weird. Let me show you that. So 1, 2, in survival placed, break. So if you place down 2 half slabs into 1 block and break it, you don't get the half slabs back. That's not very good. I don't like that at all. If we was to break down wood, you see it breaks into 2 different slabs. And if we was to break down stone, you see it breaks into 2 different slabs as well. So very weird functionality there that we're not getting correct. I hope that gets fixed because I don't like that. That is a waste of blocks completely. If we carry on then, so after that, we have a pancake and we have a cheese wheel. Now these are quite cool. So the pancake, you can place it down and stack it up to 8 pancakes on top of each other, like so. And then it becomes another block and then you break it like so. And if you was to interact with it, you can eat it from there. The cheese wheel, now if you have 2 cheese wheels and you try and stack, you can't, but you can eat the corners like a birthday cake and you get 4 from them. So that's kind of cool. Nice. Next up, we have books. So we've got placeable books. And a cool thing about these placeable books is when you place them down, they're a different color every time, but you can't stack these books. Okay, so when you place it, it's 1 book and it's 1 book stacked. Next up, we've got a book set. And again, when you place them down, they are a random color every time. Same again here for a book stack, a random color every time. And then same again here for a book pile, a random color every time. But looking at one of the tweaks that were added by this add-on, if you was to have normal vanilla books and place it down, you can actually place down a book. And not only can you place down a book, you can stack the books. The colors change, but you can stack up to 4 of them. And then you get this weirdness here too. So yeah, I don't really know what these might be a creative menu type thing. And the whole functionality is supposed to be used with an actual vanilla book, because you noticed, depending on how we placed it, it changed. But yeah, you can either stand them up like, well, I don't even know how now. I did stand one up and it didn't want to do it now. There, like so, up against the wall. But yeah, so there's a lot of book functionality here as well, which is cool. Might just take some time to get used to it. Set that back to day. Next up, we have a brazier and a soul brazier. Or is it a brazier? I don't know. But there's some functionality on this. So with a flint and steel, you can light them. And with a shovel, you can turn them back off again, which is very cool. I like that. Next up, we have a globe, and we have a sepia globe. I don't know how you pronounce that, sorry. Now, the design of the globe apparently changes depending on what world you're in. I guess it's trying to pull part of a map or something from your world to make it look cool. But if you interact on it with nothing in your hand, it shows you the coordinates. In the book, it says it shows you your coordinates, but you'll see my coordinates top left don't match with what it says, because it's actually showing the coordinates where it's placed, not where we're standing, which, you know, we're talking 2 blocks difference. It doesn't really matter, but it also gets a cool rotation, and the sepia one does the same thing. Another block that we get here is a soul sconce and a sconce, and these can also be turned off with a shovel as well. And with a flint and steel, they can be relit again. So good stuff here in that sense. Now you can probably hear the ticking, by the way, which is really annoying, but it's coming from this clock. And the clock block is what it's called. If you interact with it, we'll tell you the time. So currently, as I don't have always day set on, it's currently 8:47 in-game time. And you can see it's got an animation ticking. It's now 8:59. I'm going to break it though, because I want it now to stop ticking. Another thing we have is the hat stand, which I can't seem to pick, because once it's placed, that's it. But if we go into here and I'll write hat stand, boom, on here, place that down like so, you can place it and it will have directional from where you've placed it. And if you get yourself a helmet, you can place it on top as well. And then you can interact with it to make it wobble. To take the helmet back off again, crouch, interact, you've now got your helmet back. So you don't just lose it, which is very, very cool once again. Another block that we get here is the faucet block. Now you can place a faucet block in multiple different ways. You can place it directly on the top of something. You can essentially place it on the bottom of something as well, which I'll show you here too. And it kind of does the same thing like so. You can place it on chests. You can place it everywhere. You can also turn it on like so, and it will do nothing like this. But if you place it against something like a chest and you fill that chest with random items and then turn the faucet on, it will spit them out at you one item at a time, which, you know, we've got droppers and dispensers, but maybe you don't want one of them. You want a faucet. There you are. So that's there. Also, though, you can use it on water. Now, I've done this, but really, I think what you could just do is that and waterlog water, and then get yourself a cauldron like so and place that down. And I actually had the faucet turned on, so that spoiled that. But if we turn it back off again and place the cauldron down, then turn it back on, you'll see there's no animation, no running water animation, no drips, but the cauldron fills up. Now, this can be done on quite a number of different liquids. I couldn't work it out. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I couldn't work out how to do it, because apparently there's a way to do it with honey, liquids, potentially lava. I couldn't work out any of it. Another thing I couldn't work out was that apparently if you power the faucet with redstone, and I'm going to go and get the book here just to show you that it says it again. If you power the faucet with redstone, instead of dropping blocks out, apparently it's supposed to pull blocks in. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. If we go redstone, faucet. So faucets have a variety of uses. To turn it on, you can interact with it and turn the handle. When powered by redstone, it will work in reverse. Now, with that in mind, you see it spat those blocks out. How do you power it with redstone? I'm guessing, is it just a lever? Like that? Nothing. If we go 1, may have to just break that for now. Thank you. 2, and then lever. No. Put that there. No. What about if we put the redstone there and there? No. What about if we lift this up? No. So I have no idea how to make that work, I'm afraid. And so we're about halfway through in terms of the blocks. There's a lot here, but hopefully I'm doing a good job showing what you guys need and it's all clear. Next up, we have candles. So we have a candle holder in various different colors. This is a black candle holder, but the color actually represents the color of the candle, not the color of the candle holder. And there is also a gold light gray candle holder. So there's a gold candle holder here too. And these all the way down for these colors, what we can check on here is with a flint and steel, we can light them up like so, which is cool. We can also, if we grab one, place it on the side of a wall or on the underside of a block, which is also cool. And if you was to repeatedly place, you can actually expand how many candles are in one block, going from 2 to 3 to 4 in all 3 different stages of it being shown, which is good. And then we'll just double check that can also be duplicated on the gold ones. We'll break that, place that there, and there we go. And the functionality continues. So once again, very, very good. And then I wonder, do we need a shovel to turn it off? Let's see. Yes. Oh, something happened there. I don't really know what happened. What did happen there? Let's light that one. Okay, so it extinguishes, but it takes a while for the flame to disappear, but it does end up disappearing. Okay, next up, we've got what is called a empty flower box. Now, an empty flower box can be placed down on the ground, it can be placed down on the face of a block, and it can be placed down as a hanging. And this is the same for a large fern flower box, a rosebush flower box, a sunflower flower box, a peony, a lilac, there's a twisted vines, there's a weeping vines, there's just a vines, there's a glowberries, a sweet berries, and a pitcher plant. So we've got some functionality on here as well, just to make it different on how you want to place them down and decorate your builds, which is awesome. Another quite unique thing that we have here is called chalk. Now, there is chalk of varying different colors, all of the colors in Minecraft, in fact. And there are 4 different chalk designs that you can get. So you can just place it down on the ground and you will get a random design every time you place. But if you want to change it, just interact again and it will draw something different. Now, I've gone to the painstaking trouble of doing all 4 designs in all 4 or in all 16 or 17 of the different colors here. So you can see they are unique. There are very few, if any, crossovers between colors, and a lot of different numbers are represented here as well as shapes as we go through there, which is quite nice. I believe, I might be wrong, but I think rain might wash this away, but don't hold me to that. I may be wrong on that one. Next up, we also have cushions, which I can't interact with a pick block, but if we go here, I can show you we've got cushions of all different colors and you just place them down like so. And once you've placed them down, you can interact with it and then you're actually sitting in it. Now, one problem with this, I can't turn left and right. There's no rotation. So I am very much staying stiff and stern. I cannot move in this chair. So just bear that one in mind. But yeah, they can be dyed in the different colors. Next up, we have presents. And again, these presents, there are a lot of different presents on here. And these presents have interactivity as well. So what you can do is you can interact with it. If you're holding nothing in your hand, it will do nothing. But if you're holding something in your hand, like say I want to gift a black cushion, I can then address this to anyone in the game. I can address it to myself, or I can address it to somebody specific. I'm going to say me for now. And now I've put a cushion inside there, and it's known because the present is sealed. If I interact here, the cushion bounces out. Now this has some really cool, fun stuff going on for this. So what you can do, for instance, is take an item like a confetti popper, which I haven't shown you yet, open it up, and boom, confetti will explode. And like I said, using the confetti popper in my hand, just interact on the present, say who you want it for, seal it, and boom. But what if you want to be a prankster? Well, you can put mob eggs in there and put a creeper on there. But of course, that's not very fun, is it? I mean, who wants to just put a creeper on there? You can escape from a creeper. So there is actually an item that I'm going to introduce to you in the item section called a bomb. And if I open this, it explodes some bombs. And the bomb doesn't do block damage, but it would have done damage to me. And then lastly, in terms of blocks, there is something called a jar. And now a jar is quite nice in a sense that it can store things in it. You can store milk, water, honey, cookies, or if I grab one of these for a spoiler for later, a chocolate milk bucket, you can fill it up like so. And now you have a jar. And if we go into survival and break it, like so, you lose the chocolate milk, but you get the jar back. So that is all of the different blocks that you get in this add-on. Hopefully I've done a good job explaining the basics of stuff. There are quite a few blocks that have a bit more functionality that I'll be showing you in the experience section. But before we get to that, let's have a look at the different items that you get in this add-on. Now, in terms of the different items that you get, luckily there aren't as many, but there are some cool ones here as well. So we've got flax seeds, which if I can click it here, which can be placed down on normal farmland and it will grow to be this, which is essentially a flax crop, which isn't really playing games with me here as a pick block, but that's what it grows into. And then when you break it, you get flax. We can also have cheese. Now, cheese is made by placing milk into a cauldron. So you get a milk bucket from a cow, place it into a cauldron, wait a few days, and it becomes cheese. And then from that, if you interact with it, you then get cheese. Quite cool. We've got ash on here, which can be found around the nether, and I think any mobs that can explode. This also then can be crafted into ash bricks, to then be crafted into ash blocks. We have the bomb, which I sort of showed you with the presents, but you can throw the bomb like so. And when it explodes, it will do damage to people, but not to blocks. So it's griefing free. We have a bubble blower, which you interact with and can blow bubbles. And then when that runs out, you can use soap to essentially refill it. We've got the confetti popper, which you can use and it will explode confetti like so, or you can place down, or at least you're supposed to be able to place it down. Crouch and place, and it puts confetti down on the floor as well if you want to decorate it as if it's already happened. Next up, we then have a slingshot, and now a slingshot is quite cool because it's not actually a weapon. It's used to fire placeable blocks. So in theory, the oak planks, if I fire it, when it hits, will place. Can't think of any reason when I would ever use that, but if you fire it, it will just choose a placeable block in your inventory, and at some point, there we go, it hit the water. I mean, that's quite a cool function. It hit the water and placed it. So no more needing to find a lily pad. It's just placed the block there. There we go. It showed me a functionality as we started. And then next up as well, we have soap. Now a soap can be crafted into a soap block, but it can also be used on colored blocks, dyed things, like say for instance this cushion. We can clean it to make it a white cushion and get rid of the color. Or what about green concrete from the vanilla game? We can clean it, get rid of the green and make it white. Which again, quite cool really. Then afterwards we have a load of food. So we've got candy apple, lollipop, candy, marshmallows. There's lightly toasted golden and burnt marshmallows. There's chocolate, and then there's chocolate milk. Now, when you eat the candy apple, like so, or eat any of the sweets, you don't gain any nutritional value, apparently. We can probably check that, actually. Let's go here. We may have to go and just hurt ourselves a little bit. So back into creative, up and down, like so. We want to get our hunger to go down. I could eat this now without being hungry, and that's because it shouldn't affect your hunger bar. So let me just lose my hunger state a little bit. All right, there we go. So now I've lost my hunger. So if I now eat this candy apple, I should gain health. Oh, I did gain hunger. I'm sure it says in the book that you're not supposed to. Let me double check that. See, so it says here for candies, a sweet assortment of food. These are candy, apple, chocolate, candy, chocolate milk, and marshmallow. Candies have the peculiarity that they don't provide nutrition directly. So that tells me they shouldn't fill up the hunger bar. But they do heal you instantly instead, providing a short energy boost. They also give you nausea if you eat too many too quickly. So I'm not sure why that gave me back my hunger. Maybe that's something that needs to be fixed. I don't know. One other thing though, you would have noticed that when we ate the candy apple and we ate the lollipop, I was given a stick. Obviously, it's got a stick on it. Now, you'll notice here that there's a functionality for the stick. You see, the stick can no longer be placed in an item frame. If I try to do this here, instead, it actually places the stick like an item. And now this was another bug that I did notice, because it says in the book that you can place 3 sticks down on the ground. You can't. You can only place 1. And I'll show you that here as well, just for proof that you know I'm not lying. Placeable sticks. Place stick items on the ground, up to 3 in a single block. You can't do that. So it's not working perfectly. There's a lot of good functionality here, but it's not all working perfectly. Now, when you eat a candy, you get given a piece of paper, which is essentially supposed to be the candy wrapper. And then for the marshmallow and the 4 different types of marshmallows, you get given a stick. For the chocolate bar, when you eat the chocolate bar, you're given the paper. And when you drink the chocolate milk, you get given the bucket back, which is quite what you'd expect, to be fair. Now, with the marshmallows as well, you can place them on a campfire and it will cook them. And then with the campfire, you will have to cook it 4 times to cycle up through the different ways. So if you cook a marshmallow the first time, you get given a lightly toasted marshmallow. If you cook the lightly toasted, you get given a golden. And if you cook the golden once again, you are then given the burnt. And they'll cycle through and cook like normal food. So those are most of the items. And we do have issues that we've already seen with some of them. There's one more item, and unfortunately I couldn't place it in an item frame. So certain items really don't have that item frame compatibility here. But there is a wrench. Now what a wrench will do is essentially rotate an item that has positional or directional placement. So with an item frame, for instance, you could place this on any side of a block. And now I can rotate where it would go. And there is certain ways of doing it so that you can place it in certain directions, but I'm very heavy-handed and not really able to work that out. But the wrench does allow you to do that too. And then there you go. You see, look, holding the wrench, I can't actually open a chest. If I crouch, I also can't do it, but I can change the direction of the chest. I have to click with an empty hand to put the wrench back in the chest. So it's not super polished. It's not super perfect, but there is some really good options, really good features here. Speaking of the features, let's deep dive into a few more that needed a bit more explaining by going over to the experience section. Now for the experience section, to make this easier for you guys so that you know that this section is going to be helpful to you or not, we're going to be looking specifically at the gold trapdoor, gold door, ram block, the scorching pumice, the pulley, the bellows, the turntable, and the thatch. Now, just in case anybody skipped ahead, with the pumice block, we're just going to redo a pumice block, sorry. If you place it down in lava, like I said earlier, it will take away lava as a sponge. And then with the scorching pumice block, if you place it in water, it will cool. If you place it against ice, it will cool. Very much the opposite of a sponge would. So that's just in case anybody jumped ahead and wants to know how that works. There you go. Now, We're going to start by looking at the trapdoor and door. So if we go to clear my inventory first of all. Now what we can see here, the gold door opens absolutely fine as normal. The gold trapdoor opens absolutely fine. But if I power the trapdoor with redstone, it's now locked into place. You can hear it trying to open, but it's not happening. And then same again here. If I power this side of the door, this door will not open. Unfortunately, this door will, but if we power this side, we can do that. And anybody who might have redstone knowledge will know very easily how to make these two doors link up as well. But yeah, it's very much, you have to power them directly to make it so. So the gold door and trapdoor has got locking capabilities. Next up, we have the RAM block. Now with the RAM block, what you can do is essentially place it on a sticky piston. And you'll notice here, it's kind of like a Nautilus, the new Nautilus mob. It's not a full block. It doesn't cover the whole block, but you place it against a sticky piston and then power the sticky piston. The block it touches will break. Now, I believe it depends on the type of block that you're dealing with. So if we was to have, say, obsidian, crying obsidian, let's try blackstone. Where's that? We've got polished blackstone bricks, blackstone tiles. Why not? We can just try blackstone. Let's get ourselves an iron block as well. We can try that. And then one that everybody always asks, let's go for bedrock as well. So let's pull the block back. And you'll notice as well, when the stone block broke, it gave us cobblestone, which is very good. So we'll go with blackstone tiles first. Turn it on. That broke, and it dropped us blackstone tiles. The blackstone itself should be fine. It is. And it dropped, and it gave us blackstone. The block of iron broke, and it gave us the block of iron. The obsidian, nope. And it even kind of gave us a cancelled noise there as well. Okay, one other thing I want to check. With that extended, if I place this block next to it, no, so it has to have the movement coming through. Okay. So obsidian was a no, which is a good sign. So crying obsidian, also a no. So does that mean then anything that has less than diamond needing it to break it, I guess, maybe? Bedrock? No. So there you go. No game breaking bugs on that one. But that's the RAM block right there. Does a nice little job in breaking things. And where needed, like stone, it gives you the cobblestone that it should. Now, next up, the one I want to have a look at is the pulley block. So we're going to get the book here because I need to show you once again something that either I'm messing up or just isn't working correctly. But if we place this down, we have redstone and we're going to go to pulley. And it says pulley blocks are a mechanism that is able to push and pull connected chains or ropes. While being powered by redstone, they will try to suck in any contiguous, I think that's meant to be continuous, but contiguous rope or chain links that are on their back and push them to their front face. A single connected block to either the back or front of the last rope or chain will also be pulled along. Immovable blocks will prevent movement, just like piston. Pushed ropes or chains will be able to go through other pulleys, and to reverse the direction, simply place one backwards. So in theory then, using just a pulley, a rope or a length of rope, and a stone block with a lever, if I turn that on, you'll see, there we go, it sends the rope through and it pulls the stone. Now, if I was to break this and then flip it round the other way and do that, it now pushes the stone back again until the rope passes through. And obviously, somebody who knows redstone and engineering and any other form of just having a brain will be able to work out a way to use two of these to have a back and forth nice and easy. But if you try and do it with chains, and excuse my voice breaking there, I turn that on, nothing happens. Now we can check, because, you know, I placed this down a little while ago. We can check that I've got it facing the right way. So this way should be the wrong way. So I'm expecting it not to work here. That's fine. That was expected. And then if I place this side here, this should be the right way. This should pull the chain through, but it doesn't. Now, what we could try is put in a chain on this side, like so. My voice is gone today. I don't know why, but still not sending it through at all. So chains don't seem to work. And I don't know if this is just an iron chain or whatnot, but it's the same block, the same stone block that it would be. So maybe this is one of those weird things where it doesn't work on iron, but it works on copper. So let's just try 3 faces of copper here. Place that down, turn it on. Nope, no functionality for copper, and I didn't really believe it would. Turn this there, like so. No. So it says in the book that it should work, but unfortunately it doesn't, which again, like I said, it's not as polished as it really should be, and it's just unfortunate. Next up then, the next one I want to look at is the bellows. Now the bellows has a cool function in that when you turn it on, it spits out air, and you can use that air to then send blocks or players into a direction. And I'll do that again for you. So I'm walking through, let go of the control, and it will blow me in a direction. Now, if I turn that off, if we place a wet sponge in front of it and we put the power back on, it's now spitting out water, which in theory, if I go and get a flint and steel again over here, like so, and we place down fire and we turn it on, well, it doesn't extinguish the fire. Okay, so I don't really know what you would do with the water then. I thought you could extinguish fire. What does it say in the book? Redstone, bellows. When powered by redstone, bellows will push air in the direction they're facing. They can be used to push items, mobs, and even players. Placing a wet sponge or a scorching pumice block, which we were going to look at next, will make them blow out water or fire respectively to extinguish or set entities on fire. Ah, so entity. So, okay, hang on. Do that. I'm on fire. Oh, I might have to go into survival here. Hang on. Survival. I'm on fire. Oh, no. Okay. So it does it to entities then. Not just standard flame. I stand corrected and I do apologize. Glad that we worked that one out. And then, like it said, pumice or scorching pumice, we do the same thing. And it's now setting out fire, which if I walk into, I set fire to. There we go. That makes a ton of sense there. Thank you very much. And then actually, oh, I was going to say we could test it, but we don't need to. So that is the bellows right there. Next up, we have turntables. Now, turntables was the first block that really tricked me. So if we have a turntable placed down, you want it placed down, from what I can tell, facing upwards. You can interact with it and it can change the direction. So it is default set to turning right, but if you interact, it will turn left. And when you power it with redstone, it will turn a directional block. And because the redstone, i.e. the lever, is directly on the block, it's the strongest power of redstone, meaning it's super fast. So if we use our redstone dust and set it off a little bit and turn it on, it's not as fast. It's still quite fast, but it's working. And then if we don't want to burn it, change the direction. Do I have to turn it off, turn it back on? No. Right, so it doesn't seem to care about the direction either. So that's going right, which it is. It's going right. Go that way. No. Okay, so the direction on this block doesn't work either. Okay, really not polished. If we go for a longer redstone thing, we do this, it now does it a lot slower there too. And the reason why I said that it had to be facing upwards is because when I had it facing sideways and turned it on, it just smiled at me and did absolutely nothing. And then I thought, well, maybe because it's on the stone, that might be why. So I raised it up a little bit. There's nothing touching it. Do it again, and boom, no. So the turntables, despite saying it can go in 2 different directions, only goes in 1 different direction from what I can see, and it needs to be vertical. Okay, lastly then, the last bit that I want to look at is the thatch block. So a slight tweak, I believe. This might be vanilla actually, and I've just never noticed it. But if you get yourself a smoker, you get yourself some short grass, and you get yourself a block of coal, if you place the short grass in here with the coal, the short grass will cook and will become short, dry grass. And then if you get a crafting table, like so, this is one of the only things here that I'm not 100% sure of is in vanilla. Crafting, we're going to go into survival again. We're going to set it to this. The thatch block needs 4 of them to then craft the thatch block. So I'm including this here because I believe this is a tweak with the short grass being cooked in here, which I don't think can be done in vanilla. Maybe it can. I've never encountered it, so maybe this was nothing. And so for the last block that I want to have a look at, it is the flint block. Now, the flint block can go next to an iron block and essentially be like a massive match where friction will create fire. So I've set these both up to sticky pistons, and if I was to move the flint block here, you see it creates fire here. We can put that out just by doing so. But if I move the iron block, it also creates fire. So as long as there's friction here between the 2 blocks, it doesn't matter which one is moving, but it will create the fire right there. Now, again, this is another feature that I'm not really sure how you would really use it in anything, so do let me know down in the comments, but I thought I'd show you it. It's quite cool. It's like a massive matchstick. Now, in terms of the add-on, this has been the Supplementaries add-on. There's a lot of really good features here in theory, but as we've seen, whether it be my capabilities or the add-on's capabilities, there is a little bit of unpolished jankiness, shall we say. Now, certain things like trying to place the guidebook in an item frame was causing issues. Trying to place sticks in an item frame is impossible. Trying to put a wrench in an item frame or a chest directly is impossible. But there's some good stuff here. It just needs tightening up and fixing. So hopefully it will be. I'm very impressed with some of the stuff that you can really do here. And some of the stuff I'm kind of like, whatever. But overall, it's good. It just needs tidying. It needs tidying, it needs tightening up and a bit more testing, in my opinion. Please do leave a like on the video, drop a comment, let me know you're here. And if you're new to the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!